today with Kathy Battle, and she's gonna share with us some of her expertise in real estate. So if you had a family member or a friend looking to sell their home, what advice would you give them?
I would tell them to start thinking about what they're going to do with their house. If they want to thin things out, start cleaning things up, just deciding on what their lifestyle is and how they want to proceed. If they want to put their house on the market and before they move or after they move, just to look at things real honestly, financially, and declutter. It takes a lot of time, more time than people think.
Right. Yeah. How about buying a home? What advice would you give?
I would say to give them, the best advice would be to get with a lender first. A lot of people aren't prepared when they start looking at homes, and then they go to a lender and find out that what they can afford and what they think they can afford isn't exactly what they can afford. So I say the lender is the very first step in buying a home.
That's great advice. So what are some common mistakes you see often?
I think people just not being prepared when they get started. Just looking at things that they can't afford, or maybe thinking that they don't need to fix that up or fix this up when they're selling a house. That just deal with it later. But buyers really see the little things that need to be done.
So what does the market look like right now?
The market's very busy right now. Things are selling very fast. It's one of those markets where you need to really be prepared. So, getting your pre-approval done and all those things, ahead of time, you'll be ready to put an offer in without having to wait and get those things, because things sell fast, and a lot of times there's multiple offers on a home.
Okay. What are some common questions you get asked?
The most common one is, do you think they'll take less for their house? Do they, how long has someone lived here? Some of those things we don't know, and so it's really hard to give people advice. It's one of those things where you have to really study the market and then trust your realtor so that they give you some sort of an idea as to answer those questions for you.
Okay. So instead of selling their home themselves, why would someone need to use a realtor?
It's a lot complicated, more complicated than people think. So there's a lot of paperwork. There's a lot of legal issues, things that the seller has to provide to a buyer. They may not necessarily have the forms. There's ways to get forms, but if they're the right, people do this and they'll have the wrong forms from a different state. And so also we have the advantage of the advice, the years of experience. Right. We have the MLS system. Zillow and Realtor.com can only take you so far, and so it's nice to be able to have, when you have your house listed, you get it automatically placed with, the 900 realtors that are in this area.
That's great. So how did you get your start in real estate?
Well, I first began because I would buy and flip homes. I've only done a few, just a handful, but when I did them, I thought, this is pretty easy, I can do this for myself. And then when I started doing it, real estate wise, I thought, oh my gosh, I never really knew how much work the realtor had to put into something, because my realtor made it look so easy, I had a great realtor. So,
was there anything else that surprised you once you got into it?
I think the biggest surprise was for wanting a retirement job, a second career type job, how many hours goes into real estate. There's a lot of research, a lot of behind the scenes work that gets done.
What's like the most rewarding part you found being a realtor?
The most rewarding part is helping somebody who thinks they can't afford a house or who's struggling a little bit to get their finances under control, first-time home buyers, people who just don't understand the process at all. I really have a teaching spirit, so I love to help people learn about what needs to be done, how they can improve their credit score, and get them the home they want.
So, like within real estate, what are some of your big goals that you want to accomplish?
Well, really, because this is my retirement job, I don't set myself up with big financial goals for myself. I rather set myself up for helping people, and I like to work with people. I like to be available to people. I want to give good service. So my biggest goal is just to take on only what I can handle and what I can handle well.
That's great. Aside from real estate, do you have any other interests or
What I do for fun?
Yeah.
Well, I guess the biggest thing we do, we have a cottage, so we go up north a lot. We have my husband and I both ride motorcycles.
Awesome.
We ride Indian, and so we love to go on motorcycle vacations. And we're getting ready to build a new house, and so that's going to take up a lot of our fun.
What's one of your favorite destinations?
Our very favorite destination is Costa Rica.
Awesome.
Yeah.
It's beautiful down there. So as a realtor, what do you find to be the most challenging?
I think the biggest challenge is some of the online, the way you get leads for clients.
Oh,
Sometimes, because people just aren't prepared, they don't understand the real estate market. So a lot of times you're spending a lot of time with people who haven't, begun the process of looking for a home.
Mm-hmm.
And it's kind of sad to give people bad news. I hate to give people bad news.
Yeah.
So if they call me and they're not quite ready, or their credit rating is super, super low, and
Mm-hmm.
it's going to take a lot of time to get them ready, I just feel bad giving people bad news.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. What are some skills that you found like super useful, or that you've had to build over the years?
Well, I spent 30 years in dentistry prior to this, and we took a lot of continuing education classes on customer service.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's been the most beneficial for me, is to be able to provide good service, honest service to people, and just not overstretch myself, so that I can give that kind of service.
Yeah, would you say that's the thing that makes you stand out as a realtor?
Yeah, I think that's probably one of the things. There's a lot of realtors, especially we're in ReMax. We're really lucky here. We have a lot of good quality realtors. But yeah, I think that makes any realtor stand out, myself included.
Okay. Well, thanks so much, Kathy. That was great.
Thank you.